Now, you've expressed the interest in becoming president of the Union of Jewish Students. It's a very big step up. Why?
Why? I think that for me, coming to university and having the opportunity to engage with UJS all my life, I was waiting to go to JSOC and meet Jews. It was so important to my experience of being at university, and so important to what I wanted to do with my time at university was to get involved with Jewish students. And so I want to give back. So I've had an experience where I feel like I've really grown at university because I've been involved with the community, and I want to have a chance to give back. And on the other hand, as a disabled person with a hearing impairment, there's a part of me that also feels that it's very important to have people from these minorities at the forefront of the community, to people like me who have impairment, to be able to take on huge roles in the communities and show that we are active and we're a part of this world just as much as any able person.
Are there things you'd like to change about UJS, and what are the things that stands out for you as what you'd most like to move along?
My main kind of concern and the main sort of thing that I really want to help improve is the way that we engage with different denominations, different students. At the minute, I feel that sometimes things can be quite separate, and I want to try and we're already moving towards that, but I want to really try and push for more pluralist environments where instead of simply offering opportunities to people from across the Jewish spectrum, is that we try as much as possible to bring those people together, because the future of our community very much depends on the way that we interact with each other. And I believe that my generation has an amazing opportunity to change the way that the British community is and bring it together, make it more cohesive, and that's something that I really hope to be able to contribute towards as president.
Now, you've been part of two very large Jewish societies,
Yes.
at UCL and now at King's, I think.
Yes.
How would you engage a much smaller JSOC, perhaps stuck out somewhere like Newcastle?
Like Newcastle. Well, I actually used to go to Newcastle JSOC when I was in sixth form, and there wasn't much else for young Jewish people to do, so they let me in early, which was very nice of them. And I think the most important thing is that we recognise that every single JSOC, regardless of their size, is very different, and that is just as true for the small JSOC as it is for the medium or for the big one. And so I think it really comes down to communicating with each of those JSOCs, what is it that you want to do and how can we support you, and work out from the past what has worked and what hasn't worked. And I don't want to speak too much about the way that I think it should go, because I think that it has to be user directed and it has to come from those JSOCs what they want.
Sometimes, of course, they may come to you for ideas.
Exactly.
You know quite a lot about UJS because you've been involved. You know about its core values. What's the one that speaks to you most?
So I spoke already about cross-communalism, but I think the second core value of peer leadership is something that is very important to me and very important for the future of UJS, simply because we won't learn and grow until we ourselves, the students, take this organisation forward. And it has to be that the union ultimately has to be led by its members, the students. And so peer leadership in which people are supporting each other and also developing their own professional skill sets, I think is so important, because as a union of students, we also have a role to prepare people for the next stage in life. And so I think we have the opportunities to allow people to step up to the plate and take ownership of their union, and that way we can only get stronger.
Now, for better or for worse, one of the things that dominates Jewish student life now, as it did all the time back when I was a student, is Israel.
Yes.
How do you think UJS should be engaging with Israel?
Again, I think it needs to be led by what the students want. So there are people within our cohort who have vastly differing opinions, and I believe that they should all have the opportunity to speak out and to be heard. And I don't think that me as an individual, it's necessarily my role to say this is what it should be right now, because we have conference coming up where people should be coming forward and giving motions, and we can hear what people want. What do people want UJS to to do with Israel and how do they want us to relate to it. And I think that comes much more, again, from what the people want as opposed to necessarily what I would want as a president.
Let's fast forward. You've been elected, you've had your term, it's come to an end. Where do you say you see UJS as being 18 months from now?
So in 18 months I hope to have really tried to boost participation as much as possible, both with the Union of Jewish Students and also with student unions and NUS, because I really, really believe that the more that Jewish students can engage with the wider politics, the more we can do for ourselves and the more that we can represent our interests in a wider sphere. And so I'd like to see a UJS which is really encouraging people to get involved in that and to not be afraid, because I was definitely afraid when I was younger. It can be a really scary thing to go into a world which I think many of us are not used to, many of us are intimidated by, and I think as UJS we can do a lot to support students who want to take that leap, and that is something that I really have my heart set on doing.
Well, Hannah, good luck.
Thank you.
And I hope you're a very successful UJS President if you get elected.
Thank you.